David, you spoke about there are 4 stages. If you could help us define what these 4 stages are and what challenges do people typically encounter along the way?
Well, in the first stage, when you're doing coaching to people, you're not really sure what to do. So you're using the model that you have as a crutch. Everything has got to fit into that model. So,
Yeah.
if you've got a tool, if your toolkit is a hammer and nails,
Mm.
basically that's what you're going to be using. Whereas if you can actually enlarge your toolkit to have a spanner and a screwdriver and some screws and various other things, now you're actually enlarging it. You can relax a little bit and say, well, okay, I can not need to be so much in control.
Mm.
And this need to be in control is characteristic of early stage coaches. They're comfortable not knowing where the conversation's going. The more mature you get, the more relaxed you are. In fact, knowing if you know where the conversation's going, it's not coaching.
Mm. Wow.
Because you're in charge. You know where the conversation is going, you must be in charge.
Mm.
So then when you get to being a coach, you can really relax and you can start seeing that engaging with the client in so many different ways. And this is when we start to see people using themselves. So ontological coaching and things help here too. But you use your gestalt, the things that you feel as the client, you're talking with the client, they're indications, they're things that they're triggers and clues for you about what's going on in the space between you. And then when you get to that systemic eclectic coach, you're into a space where we find that these coaches ask about a fifth of the number of questions.
Wow.
They're all powerful questions. So one of the things that we did in the assessment center, when we gathered the powerful questions that coaches asked, the ones that had real impact, we gathered almost no original powerful questions from coaches at the first 2 levels. All of the powerful questions, hundreds that we identified, came from the top 2 levels.
Just for my understanding, the first level that you spoke about is where the coach is dependent on the model. So that's what you call as I would try to fit the other person in the model that I've learned, which is like model-based coaching, where there's a streak to control and doing coaching, where the coach at this level typically focus on a single model and apply it consistently in the coaching conversation. The second one, that's where the coach learns to let go, and thus it becomes what we call as process-based coaching. And in this level, which is level 2, David, the coach offers more flexibility and is structured around a limited set of tools, where the coach has added a couple of more tools in the toolbox that they are relying on. The third one you spoke about is philosophy or discipline-based coaching. It's a little advanced, where coaches at this level base their interventions on a broad philosophy rather than a singular toolkit, where you're willing to experiment and explore and stretch and let's see what happens. And thus it operates in a relationship-based manner. And the fourth one that you mentioned is, you said systemic eclectic, right?
Yes.
And that's where the coaches operate at this level, focus on empowering the client. It's all about the other person, where you are serving the client rather than serving the model, where you are in service for the other person.